That previous chapter has finished?
Rest?
The previous chapter that we were doing?
Union government.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have finished.
Okay.
ऐसे तो एक हफ्ते में फिनिश हो जाएगा फिर. Isn't it?
Sir, can't we continue from previous chapter only?
No. We want to parallelly do other chapters so that you can also enjoy off, means break from those topics. It is also related to the chapter. The chapter we are doing, it is related to that, and we teach this chapter after finishing union and state governments. So it is in synchrony with that. This you can write in a separate copy. Whatever the copy you have, you can write in separate one, because that will also be. No. So how many copies you have by this time?
6.
6 or 400 pages.
6 or 400 pages. Do you remember
Yes.
first one?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, I used to make the short notes from all those things, so that's how I try to remember them.
Sir, this chapter will be finished today.
What do you think?
Just ask.
आज तक ऐसा हुआ है कोई कि चैप्टर एक दिन में फिनिश हुआ हो?
No, sir.
So, a good chapter for both paper 1, paper 2 and including GS. So, except that, although there is a topic also accountability, but other topics are equally relevant in GS paper. In fact, this year they asked this. We ask in GS test difference between civil society and non-profit organization. So, in this year in UPSC they have asked that question. Anyhow, they are all equally relevant. So, you should see from that perspective rather than seeing that it is one more chapter with so many topics. This, because 3 places you are getting, 4 places you are getting benefit. In ethics paper, in paper 2nd of GS and public administration, paper 1, paper 2. If UPSC does not ask in paper 1, it asks in paper 2. This you should know that. So, because there is a chapter 14 we do not teach. No? By the time we reach to this, it is already finished. So it is called issues in Indian administration. एक टॉपिक है इसमें, issues in Indian administration. तो इसमें सब कुछ आ जाएगा. It is drafted in such a way that any issue is Indian administration, right? So that way you can take, and that is how, let's say that this chapter, all topics are relevant, all topics have been asked at certain point of time. You should know CBI question was expected, but they asked in GS this year. For 5 years we were asking in GS also, public ed also. This year we have not asked in any paper. Neither in public ed nor in GS. Even CAG also I did not ask this year properly. CBC we did not ask. So, because it becomes a stereotype like every year, but that is how, let's say, they ask. National Commission for Women we asked in 2013, they asked in 2015, 16. When that time we asked, so people thought कि ऐसा question नहीं आएगा. But they asked 2 times, National Commission for Women. Anyhow, we have been expecting CVC. Question will be asked on CVC. We have asked our chance, we have taken, UPSC will take its own chance. Anyhow. So, it is a good chapter in terms of, if you see the quality of topics, because you have to necessarily study at 4 places, in public administration also and in GS also. And at none of the places it would be taught comprehensively the way it is taught here. So that way it benefits. And they have asked question on Lokpal. They have not asked question yet on CBC, CBI in public administration. So we expect a question. Already in GS they have asked whistleblowing. We expect a question in public administration. This in GS paper 2nd they ask. Social audit they have asked this year in the ethics paper. We have asked in GS 2nd. That is how it happens. So this year they have asked, it was expected. Which paper they will ask, many a time it becomes interdisciplinary. Right. So ultimately they ask social audit. this year in ethics paper. In public administration, it has already been asked. So, in public administration, generally it is asked comparing CAG audit. RTI transparency, already you know that it is. Citizen charter, several times it has been asked. So, all the 4 topics are very important. On that, they have also asked legislative, executive, judicial control. On concept part also question is asked, this will take. And civil society, NGO, you know that this question, role of media, has also been asked in public administration. So, every topic is important. This way you should take this. Nothing to say that this is more important, that is more important. Every topic is important because role of media and then social media nowadays. So we have been expecting a question on social media. Also, role of media. They ask one question, very interesting question. Media is the Parliament of India. Citizens, yes, it is. So that is how the question. It does not matter whether you write interest groups. Right, someone is putting that, what we can say, significant issues, that is how I can say. So one thing is that it is mentioned, they have mentioned, something is that they have not mentioned. UPSC, you know that ask values we have already done, regulatory commission already done. Only 2 topics we teach, 3 topics, National Commission, means National Human Rights Commission, problems of coalition regimes and disaster management. Citizen administration interface, so this is how citizen administration interface, this we have written. So when it is mentioned citizen interface, so this is how citizen administration, either you say relation or you say interface. When you take civil society organization, here necessarily we teach what we can say interest groups. The pressure groups not in our syllabus, means not in public administration, but interest groups syllabus. So we teach there all different types of civil society organizations. Anyhow, so chapter, no. So let's take next chapter, it is finished. Isn't it? Now, sources of reading, what source you will take? Source of reading, largely even class discussion is more than enough because we teach comprehensively, and more than that you will not be able to get from any source. Since they are dynamic and they are not having such variations, lots of variations they do not have. Like say it is citizen charter, so citizen charter. So you have to know that. So class will help you even almost 100%. And that notes if you are able to remember, so it is enough. This is what we can say. So the basic rationale is this: power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So Lord Acton once he said, which is already you know that. So that's why it is said that we don't have to prove it. The power corrupts. It is well proven fact, and already it was told, you know, that quite back. Even Wilson was aware that if bureaucracy is not controlled, it can become threat to citizens' liberty. And Max Weber was also concerned that if it is not controlled, so it becomes instrumental, and when it becomes instrumental, so it is hardest to dismantle. This, so this you know that. We asked this question this year also, right? So I guess it is T, dismantle. It is like this. Power is the heart of administration. Maxwell. So already it has been debated way back about system of control. Means what should be the system of? It means that by the time you may be able to understand that accountability is the basis, control is the basis to uphold accountability. Now, when they are saying that controlled, if it is not controlled, it means if we are able to control, right, it means control is the basis to uphold accountability. सो आपने कहीं दही ज़्यादा तो नहीं खा लिया? कल मकर संक्रांति था। Anyhow, do we still celebrate that way?
Not dahi chawal, kheer made up of Indian juice.
सर हमने खाया ही नहीं दही। खिचड़ी।
खिचड़ी?
A kite flying. Yes sir. Gajak also.
Gajak is a contemporary development.
Pondiyo sir, pondiyo. तिल के लड्डू सर।
अच्छा,
सर मेस का खाना।
मेस का खाना। Anyhow, so in Uttar Pradesh, I guess कि dahi is
Dahi and chuda.
Yes, dahi and chuda. Right? We have also right means celebrated and eaten means continuously on continuous basis. Nowadays, professional commitments have dissociated from society. Anyhow, but in
nation building profession.
different different areas, different I guess. So things have changed and anyhow, so try to understand. Just gradually we are trying to picking up that what it is. So power structure was divided in such a way that there is effective control on administration with checks and balances. That's why we told in case of parliament also checks and balances, and so that the administration acted accountably, which can also be considered a responsible administration. So before defining what is accountability etc., let's take that system. The system of control. What is that system of control? So it is, we have a state has parliament, okay. If we talk in our country, so parliament will have executive and then there will be administration and then will be people. Yes. Then there is also judiciary. So judiciary has also control on administration. Yes. Parliament will exercise control on executive. Executive exercise control on administration. Yes. So parliament will have indirect control. Indirect. It has direct. Direct control, indirect. It has indirect. Then people will also exercise control, which is indirect. This is traditional, if you talk. Traditional system of control. Then people will be assisted in this process. So people will be also assisted here. So there will be also a role, that is how we say that, role of people will also be assisted through media. media, civil society organizations. They within that, no need to mention, but interest groups. So basically they help people exercise control on administration, which is indirect. That is how traditional. At the same time, you know that government also created traditionally this not adequate. So we also created, means they went on creating accountability institutions. So we had created accountability institutions, traditional, right? Like we can say that CAG. So CAG can be one accountability institution. Then it can be Lokpal, CVC, CBI. There are others, but let's say nowadays means others, we can say that Central Information Commission, means Information Commission, we can have this, that controlled by this institution. We can have NHRC, right? We can have National Commission for Women. That's all. Means others are also having direct, indirect control. So basically they have, they can be still considered traditional, or you can say contemporary also. So contemporary, they were added. We can take it as traditional. And they are basically to uphold the accountability of administration. To uphold the accountability of administration. This is called as system of control. This. So you can imagine that कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को कंट्रोल कितना मतलब पावरफुल इंस्टीट्यूशन होता है. Entire system is to control administration. The entire system is to control administration. Everything is directed at administration, right? And still it is not in control. This. So many a time you can see a situation that there are so many institutions created parallelly to control administration that their number is more than what administration. This can also be. So we can have over 500 such institutions, or more than, let's say, 100, 200 institutions. So they are controlling administration. So in a way you have created a parallel administration. Right. This results into parallel, let's say, so you create a parallel. So they become parallel institution. Bureaucracy is one institution, they become parallel institution. And when they become parallel institutions, so they themselves start posing challenge to accountability. Then you have to control them also. Right. So who will regulate the regulators? We spoke in past, isn't it? So this, anyhow, but that's why we have told, or we are teaching, so you will realize the significance of role of parliament. So So you can imagine the role of significance of how parliament is important, right? Because all these things depend on parliament, because parliament controls all. Parliament controls all, the judiciary also, executive also, and them also, right? And if parliament itself is not functioning effectively, the entire system will not function effectively, right? The entire system, this system of checks and balances, will become ineffective, right? That's why parliament must function effectively. That's why it is called system. That's why the three institutions play important role: executive, parliament, and judiciary. And it is said that they should play important role, means they should work. If one is not working, other two should work. If two are not working, one should work. Someone should work. Minimum demand, minimum requirement. That's why judiciary has been working, right? So wheel is running. This. So vacuum is not created. So as long as judiciary is working, the wheel is running, and that is how the system is running. Anyhow, but that's a very different concept. We were just trying to say that this is how traditional we created. Now thereafter we'll talk when this traditional system of control was created to control administration, and this continued for some time. That is called democratic setup. And it was thought that if we have this system of control, so administration will be controlled effectively. Although yes, time to time there have been changes also. You will find that changes in the sense that Lokpal created, CBC created, CBI created, thereafter we have created NHRC, National Commission for Women, others. So on continuous basis you will find that there has been evolution of number of institutions which can uphold accountability of administration. So that has continued, but that is a traditional system. Still it is considered as a traditional system. And this traditional system largely continued till, let's say that we can say, if in case of our country, 1950s to 1980s. So this system of this we had, and it continued, but then there was change. You know that how change started. So this traditional, and how change started, you know that. And this change we started talking about, if you remember, governance. Change started like governance, good governance, globalization, then ICT. Right. You know how things started changing. This. So when they started, let's say, so they all started talking that. They all started talking that the role of people. Should become part and parcel of this system of control. This. So people should become part and parcel of system of control. Here people were treated, their role was very indirect. The people were treated as passive. means it was thought that they will uphold this accountability, they will uphold accountability, it will work and they will uphold accountability and people will get whatever they think deserve. So role of people till it is, if you remember the first chapter that when we taught and others chapters related to that, so you know that the role of people their role also remained very weak. So their role was also weak, although media has played, basically print media. So media has always played even during freedom struggle movement also, but still their role remained not that strong because people role remained passive. So this indirect control was its role was very negligible, very marginal. And largely it is a formal system of control. So then it becomes also a formal system of control. Largely what we had, we say it as formal system of control. So it is a formal system of control. So when anything that is formal system, so you know what will happen. So we can give you just one example what happened, formal system of control. So let's take one just example that what happens in this formal system of control. Like say we have CAG and let's think that CAG is working effectively. So CAG will do audit of let's say midday meal. So it will do audit of midday meal. Then the audit report, will go to Parliament. And let's take that Parliament is also working. So then the executive brings action taken report. Right. But midday meal audit that has been done related to people, right, hardly they know all these things. What is happening? उन्हीं के स्कूल का ऑडिट हुआ है, पार्लियामेंट में डिबेट चल रहा है, उनको पता नहीं है. Right. Then let's say that action taken report. Now the executive will take action. Executive will take action, it will pass on to administration, administration will pass on to people by the time one generation is finished. Even if we are presuming it is working, if we are presuming it is working, so it is a time-taking process in which people are passive, they do not have any say in that. What if people were incorporated in this audit process, so they could have told something else also to a CAG, which CAG may not be able to know. And then why people should wait? Why people should wait for so many years? Even if action is taken. This is one. Now second aspect is that CAG would never do audit of midday meal program of entire country. It will select some states and select some blocks and it would do audit. Doing audit of entire country midday meal program will be a very difficult task. So then it means that many such schools are at every level. Now you have it is said that 6,000, we have 6 lakh, I guess, yes, 6 lakh villages we have or something. I try to memorize, but I forget how many number of villages we have. But at least we know that we have 2.5 lakh panchayats, 2.69 lakh panchayats we have. So at least 2.6 lakh panchayats. Do you think that in every panchayat there can be at least one school? Let's take at least one. But I know that in my panchayat there are 3 schools. So if you take like that, so do you think CAG would be able to audit 2.5 lakh panchayat schools? It would not be able to audit. But suppose people are given right to audit. No. Suppose people are given right to audit. So what will happen? What will happen? This entire process, right? This entire process, they don't have to wait for, and people can audit at their level, and at each and every panchayat level they know who is who, what is happening, and how better the scheme is being implemented, and then there will be course correction, immediate effect. They will have a say also, they will have a voice also. That is how I can say that they will have their voice. They will have stakeholders, ownership, and that will result into also effective deterrence. There will be effective deterrence check. It will enhance responsiveness. And it can further strengthen its process. This will also be improved. Right? Social audit will also improve this. Social audit will also improve this. Now, people, let's say, they can play important role. If let's say people can play important role if they are given help, they are empowered. So if people are, let's say, empowered, how people can be empowered? The people can be empowered by RTI. Right. Information दोगे नहीं तो जाओगे कहाँ? I will RTI you. देख लूँगा. Right. So RTI, then people will be empowered through civil society organizations. Kejriwal ji. So they work for empowerment of people, parivartan. Then let's say that media. Media can also help in empowerment. Right. And that's why, let's say that those topics, hzJLM Charter, the hzJLM Charter also has been brought. hzJLM Charter, e-governance, this. So we have introduced e-governance. So what governments are basically trying to do? So this is a change, let's say. It is a paradigm shift. So this can be considered a paradigm shift. So the change has brought a paradigm shift. In system of accountability. In system of accountability, and that is called, this is new system of accountability. So we were saying formal, it is not informal, but let's say it can be considered, but it is a new system of accountability. Right. This is the new system of accountability. Which is, you can say, at informal, or it is called demand side. And it is called supply side. It is demand side, it is supply side. Right. So it is a kind of complement, you can say that, supplement, you can say, complement, say that. So traditional system was, even if it was working, or let's say it's checks and balances, it has its own problems. But yes, at the same time we started talking the other system of control, so that there is accountability. And that's why these things, these systems have been brought, so that people can participate in the process. Because people, that is how people, if people will change, we have told in political culture, so if people will change, the system will change, this entire system will change. It is also a sort of change in political culture. We mentioned about participation, deliberative democracy. This makes, it is the ballot box democracy, this is the deliberative democracy example. So this way you should understand how accountability or control. So the concept of accountability will also undergo changes. So the concept of accountability will also undergo change. System of control will also undergo change. And that is what we have to understand. So it is also considered substantial accountability. It is more considered quantitative. It is legal, formal, quantitative. It is substantial, moral, and informal accountability, which I will tell and dictate later on. So now these tools are getting, so governments are trying to strengthen them. RTIs, civil society organization, media, citizen charter, e-governance, other things. We are social audit. We are trying to bring the tools. We are trying to strengthen it. This has happened. So the system of control has gone to that level. But system of control has also gone to beyond that level. Right. Matlab, there are 3 stages, you know that. First stage, system of control. Second stage, system of control. And now we are talking the third stage. Right. After this, because this has also been experienced for, so we have experienced this for almost 20 years, 30 years it is. So this has also become almost 20-30 years. So when it has become 20-30 years, so on the basis of the experience, this is how World Bank has given its idea. We'll talk what it has given idea, that what further should be done. Right. Now, in this system of control, we have left regulatory area. Regulatory area, you know that we have related somewhere while teaching regulation. So regulatory area we have not covered, but we will tell also that aspect, especially performance oriented. So there is also emphasis on performance orientation, but that's very different thing. We'll talk separately that aspect. And that is how these tools, the governments nowadays focusing that. And I think in governance we told, yes, in governance, while talking Prime Minister, good governance, effective governance. So it was more top down. It is called top down. So this is an example of top down, and that's why it is. So this is an example of also top down. But this is an example of also bottom up. So you know, I had drawn that time how it was top down, then how it is making people bottom up oriented. Right. So it is top down, like say it is going CAG. The CAG is, it is going like top down. It is colored like this, but it is now bottom up. So it is people-led development. It was state-led development. This. So are you able to understand? At this time, is it clear? Because this time I have changed a bit in my changing, let's say, pattern. Generally, I used to tell definition and other things. Then I came to this, but this time I am telling in the very beginning. Then we'll go and teach what is accountability concept and etc.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Demand side and supply side. Will tell you, because at this stage weakness I don't want to talk much. We have presumed that the system is working. Still we need this because people should have voice, ownership. But that is very simplistic. No, to presume the system is working. Already you know that how parliament is not working. At least that we have taught. So you know that how parliament is not working very effectively. So basically when we say demand side and supply side, what is the concept? So we'll explain later on, although here let's say that ultimately this formal system has been created. So that formal system is executive led system. So when it is executive led system, it is executive supplied accountability control system. Bureaucrats are upholding accountability of bureaucrats. Chor chor mausere bhai. Anyway, right. Anyhow, let's say that what we are saying. What is CAG? The CAG is a bureaucratic body. What is CBI? It is a bureaucratic body. What is CBC? It is a bureaucratic body. And whom accountability they are upholding? Their own brethren. This. So we think that it is an accountable institution, but they are ultimately bureaucracy. So that's why let's say that government, it is executive supplied. Even if it is NHRC, but it is part of the government. No, government has appointed. Its secretary, chief executive officer is IAS. So then one IAS is upholding accountability of another IAS. That aspect. So that is called supply side. This is demand, people led, right? People led, let's say, that is called demand. On people side, demand based means people demand is they should have ownership in that. So this will, let's say, that bring change and check. So that is how it is. The people should govern themselves. The idea is how even you can say Mahatma Gandhi. So it is like more empowering people. Mary Parker followed power with deliberative democracy. So now ultimately power is going to people. Right. Power lied here, but now that power is getting dispersed to people. This you can say that is also principle of subsidiarity by ARC second gig. People are, power is going to people. Traditionally power remained concentrated in those formal state machineries. And when power is dispersed, so that is how in beginning we have written, when power is dispersed, power is controlled effectively. So that result into accountability. This. But traditionally Max Weber, Wilson, they may not have the idea that this kind of system can also be there. Right. These things have evolved and now people can exercise control. Tools. And just you can imagine that in every village, if people are active, they can carry social audit. But that is scope we'll talk later on. So this way we should understand. So that is what we have to understand. That is how we have to tell. So one by one we'll talk on this. So this is what I will dictate here thereafter, what has happened. And there will tell you this weakness, means ultimately will tell you that how it has been weak, means case at times Traditionally, it is not functioning. Many a time you know that the CAG audit, so it is not submitted and it is not scrutinized. Parliament does not function. Executive already you know. So it was not only related to that ki they are working still. They demanded, if you remember, governance. The governance came because of poor governance. If you know their background, you know that how they have come. They have come because of the failure of or weakness of the past. And they started talking. But at the same time, it is not only weakness. Why people should participate? So they should participate because they are the stakeholder. People should not participate at the first place because government is not working. No, people should participate because they are the stakeholder of the society. Why you should be part of decision making in your family? Because you are a member of the family. It's not that no, father is not able to take important decision effectively. Right. It is not at first place like that. No, right. It is कि no, I should have ऐसे. मैं छोटा हूँ फिर भी मेरा भी रोल होना चाहिए. This. So, but we think that participation इसलिए होना चाहिए कि corruption हो रहा है. No, participation इसलिए होना चाहिए कि you are the stakeholder of the society. Right. And stakeholders should have active say and ownership rather than, let's say, that. So this way we can understand about concept of our system of accountability and control. So we have gone to new system of accountability of control from old system of accountability and control. Right. So let's write on that further. So thereafter we'll talk. Right. Right. Therefore, right. The above traditional system of control was created. The above traditional system of control was adopted by most of the democratic countries, including India, especially parliamentary democracies. And those who had presidential form of system. Although there are some differences between parliamentary and presidential system of control. Parliamentary and presidential systems of control. However, this traditional system of control started weakening as they did not function as desired with checks and balances. That state became Leviathan type, characterized by administrative state. In a way too big to be controlled. Too big to be controlled effectively. The formal system of control was supply side of control. That is led by the government itself. That even if there were institutions like CAG, Lokayuktas, CVC, CBI. Still it was found that control was not effective. Control was not effective. Rather, administration was characterized by first corruption, malpractices. Second, nexus criminalization, as highlighted by N.N. Bohra Committee. Next, poor governance and poor quality of service delivery. Poor governance and poor quality of service delivery. Citizens were also treated passively. Change paragraph. Even if to some extent, administration was able to perform and remain accountable, but the dominant perception was that there was misuse of discretionary powers. Even it was highlighted by Santanam Committee, 1964, set up on corruption. That is, there was excessive bureaucratization, and the fear of Max Weber somehow started becoming a truth that bureaucracy becomes instrumental, and if it is not controlled, it is hardest to dismantle. It was also more or less similar situation in other part of the world. That's why by 1980s and 90s, there was a paradigm shift change in terms of what should be the system of control. And international financial institutions, World Bank, IMF, UNDP, and also thinkers of public administration started talking about A new system of control led by people. A new system of control led by people, which gave emphasis, which resulted into emergence of concepts and tools like governance, good governance, e-governance. Governance, good governance, e-governance. Next, RTI, Citizen Charter, Social Audit. RTI, Citizen Charter, Social Audit. Next, active role by civil society organizations and media. Active role by civil society organizations, media and social media. Social media. Which brought qualitatively change in system of control and accountability. Which brought qualitative change in system of control and accountability. It is also known as substantial accountability. Substantial accountability, demand side accountability, and cumulatively it gave rise to a new concept of accountability known as social accountability. Social accountability. We have been also expecting for a long time a question on social accountability. Or a term social accountability necessarily should come in either side, GS or public administration. The way they have asked now, first time social audit. So, first time in prelims they use social capital as a term. A question was asked on social capital, you should know that. That was also expected. Then social audit first time. Then social accountability is another term that we expect a question. So a new concept has come. One is called traditional accountability. Now we have social accountability, that is change in the concept of accountability. This. So what basically we are saying, let's take that, there is equation. So power plus discretion minus accountability equals to corruption. This is a traditional equation. Another traditional equation, the way we say power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is also, it was talked by Santanam committee. Santanam committee. ARC first also. Basically, why power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So power is given to civil servants and then they have discretions. This you should know that. They are given discretions. इसलिए तो पुलिस वाले बोलते हैं जाओ नहीं तो एकाउंटर कर दूंगा. So discretion, right? शंकर रोड पे कहाँ इनकाउंटर कर करके छोड़ दे फेंक देगा पता नहीं चलेगा. इधर कोई आता जाता नहीं है. So the question is accountability. You should know that. Discretion. You have discretion. Why you want to become IAS? You are master to none. Anyhow, so you are in yourself. That's why you want to become IAS, right? Because you are in yourself, no control. तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट को बोला जाता है राजा. ही इज द राजा ऑफ द डिस्ट्रिक्ट, right? So he is the king of the district. He is the little Napoleon. Right? That kind of, let's say, things have been given. So why you want to become district magistrate? Because you are free. You can do anything, everything, anything. What you want to do? Whether you want to go to teach in a school, go and teach in a school. You want to get a photograph with your car, you can get a photograph. So आप जो चाहते हो, आप रेड लाइट पे खड़े होकर लोगों को मास्क देना चाहते हो, वो भी कर सकते हो. सो डैट की लोकल न्यूज़पेपर में तो आएगा ही कम से कम. So the question is that this is how it is. So you are discretion, right? You have discretion, enough discretion, right? अभी तो पेरेंट्स मान लो आपको लिमिटेड मनी सेंड करते हैं, मंथली आता है बैंक में, right? Just overnight once you become IAS, millions of rupees you spend. अभी तक पैसा जो है वो बहुत ही लिमिटेड आता था, isn't it? तो सोचना पड़ता था. और कल से क्या है कि मिलियंस ऑफ रुपीज कमिंग इन योर हैंड. सो व्हाट यू विल डू, ये भी एक डिस्कशन है. प्लस ऐसे ही लोग आपको सैक्स ऑफ, लेट्स से दैट की मनी दे विल गिव यू. डिस्क्रेशन, whether you want to take it, you do not want to take it. This. So discretion you cannot take away. We will talk that also, very good concept. We'll talk somewhere. So means it's other side. So discretions, let's say, they have been given, and discretions are important because everything you cannot define. Everything you cannot define, but discretion is given for first. You cannot define discretion, means you cannot define what to do, what not to do. And second ki innovation will be affected. Right. So civil servants are given discretion, and that discretion result into power तो है ही, discretion भी साथ में आ गया. Right. So it results into. So that is how basically we are trying to control this. Power plus discretion. This is controlled. Now I can write here traditional system of control, because already we have written that. Traditional system of control. But you know that its flaws. Traditional system of control, it has its own flaws. So when it has its own flaws, so we started contemporary system of control. This. And that contemporary system of control is called Citizen Charter, Social Audit, right, RTI, e-governance, right, media, social media, and civil society organizations. This. And this we say as, that has given rise to a new concept called social accountability. The social accountability, this. Now what basically they are doing? So we told that they are participating, deliberative democracy. This is also an example of deliberative democracy. So, deliberative democracy. Now, what basically they are doing? They will minimize this discretion. Right. Minimize discretion. So when they minimize discretion, so what will happen? This will improve accountability, so this will decrease. This. That's why automatization is being done. No, e-governance we gave already, means we gave somewhere. We will talk. Yes, already we have taught direct benefit transfer in e-governance. Right. So how, let's say, it is minimizing discretion. So government is basically trying to minimize discretions from different areas. Discretion should be taken away, or it should not be left to the officers to decide, etc. So this way you can consider that how governments are trying to do and strengthen this. That is basically strengthening control system, means so controlled. So discretion is minimized. This. Then social accountability. So let's try this further.
Sir, giving reference of Santhavan committee and Bora committee in paper 1 is not relevant as we should reference of public at thinkers.
But we cannot completely avoid it also.
Can we give paper 1?
Yes, we can give in paper 1, but we have to think that when we have to give and where we have to give. You should know that we have taught public-private partnership. In that, what we have taught? In regulation, in self-help groups, in development administration, there, right, even in our techniques of administrative improvement. So ultimately you have to talk in general also, but you have to mold it also. Means you have to refer Indian aspect also. This.
Okay.
So this way it can be considered. Means we have to teach you ombudsman system, but then in that also we have to teach Lokpal. Yes, ombudsman would be asked in paper 1. Lokpal will be asked in paper 2. That is how distinction. But then RTI would be asked in paper 1. So what we will do? Wouldn't we be writing also about India? This media is the parliament of citizen. What we will write? UK Parliament. Right. So this we have to understand the concept, plus we cannot avoid it. Yes, their developments have not necessarily happened only in India, so that's why it keeps the paper 1. But at the same time, their developments will not, discussion will not be complete unless we talk India. This. So this we have to understand, the concept plus application. So concept plus application we have to talk, so that is how we say this. That's why we are trying to relate it. Anyhow, let's try it next.
Sir, how will DBT minimize the discretion of civil servant?
Right. Because money is directly transferred by the bank from the government of India here to the beneficiary. In past it was left to that cash, the cash was given by the lower level functionary to that wage earner. The money was given in cash. Right. Wage earners under Manrega, so initially they were given in cash. Right. So when they were given in cash, so you give, let's say that their wage for daily wage is 150. What guarantee? How much you are giving? Whether the Pradhan has given 150 or only 50?
Not given.
Not given at all. नहीं कुछ तो दिया होगा. Discretion is अभी भी discretion है. Discretion is also because of lack of people participation. Generally in Manrega, Pradhan keeps the accounts of the wage earners. Right. इसलिए कि जो वेज अर्नर्स है वो तो बोलते हैं आप ही हमारे मलिकार है।
Yes, sir. Right.
ठीक है, और जो बैंक का जो मैनेजर है वो प्रधान जी का मामा लगता है। ठीक है। सो बैंक में वैसे ही रूरल एरिया का सिनेरियो उत्तर प्रदेश बिहार में आप देख लोगे तो भाग जाओगे वहां से। ठीक है, दिल्ली ही बेहतर है। राइट। सो इन बैंक्स पैसा नहीं होता है, लोगों का लंबा लाइन लगता है। राइट, दिस यू कैन से दैट। जब तक न्यूज पहुंचता है लेट्स से घर पे कि बैंक में पैसा आ गया है, बैंक जाते जाते पैसा खत्म हो जाता है।
Now things have improved, sir.
Yes. So basically let's say there is discretion. Discretion is that कि you minimize the discretion but still there is discretion. Who should get 100 days employment? There is still discretion. Right. Because there are 10 persons, you have to give one person. जॉब तो एक ही पर्सन के लिए है लेकिन देयर आर 10 persons. तो दैट which that one person will be, तो ऐसे ही बोलेगा प्रधान जी आप 50 रुपया आप रख लीजिए, 100 रुपया ही हमको दीजिए। या कि कोई बोलता है कि नहीं 75 रख लीजिए, तो कोई बोलेगा हमें 50 रुपया ही दीजिए, 100 रुपया आप रखिए। Isn't it? 50 रुपया तो मिल रहा है। Discretion you have to understand, discretion and many problems, scarcity and all these things. I guess you got this, what is called discretion.
Yes, sir.
So discretion becomes, let's say, in any let's say part, discretion is there who should get the job. Many of the employments are in the control of district magistrate. Many of the projects are in the control of district magistrate. I told you that even in COVID time at district level, there is common kitchen. Government is running kitchen, let's say that. The contract is given, shared by one of my student who is, let's say that, in service. So he told that how there is corruption in that. So food is cooked for 100 people, but bill is for 500 people. Will government account? कैसे अकाउंट करेगी कि कोविड में आपने कितने लोगों के लिए खाना बनाया? That's why it is ultimately integrity and wisdom which matters. Right. So lots of discretions you have, no? Lots of discretions you are given, lots of money you are given, lots of projects are there. That's why we say कि projects नहीं आता है तो they feel bad. The more the projects, the more sources of earning. So these things, this is what discretion. So it is not discretion related to this or that. There are so many things. Let's say even in COVID time, the disasters तो आता ही रहता है. Nowadays, let's say disasters have become erratic. Certain part of the country is always under this or that disaster. And disaster means discretion. Anyhow, let's finish, let's write further thereafter. Right. What we have written, the last, before this, what we write, the last line you can read.
Social accountability.
Social accountability, right. Let's write. Traditionally, the system of control try to basically control discretions. As mentioned above. However, due to formal nature of control, it was not effective. It was less effective, and hence it resulted into three types of behavior by administration. Three types of behavior, broadly three types of behavior by administration. Malfeasance, right, misfeasance, and overfeasance. Malfeasance is called corruption, inefficiency, misfeasance, misuse of power. Overfeasance is also misuse of power, but it is beyond jurisdiction, going beyond one's jurisdiction. And therefore, the contemporary system of control evolved. Contemporary system of control evolved as mentioned above. There are following differences in traditional system of control and contemporary system of control. and the same difference can be written for everyone. It is a framework type. It is like theory X and Y type. Let's say it is a framework type. You can write for RTI, citizen charter, social audit, e-governance, social media, same thing. So, does it means, let's say, accountability improved. So, we can say, let's say that 1950s, 1980s, 90s, 1990s, we can tell about 2020s. Now, the way behavioral theory means organization theory evolved, similarly accountability concept has also evolved. So we have gone like this. We had this formal accountability, then we got social accountability. We had social accountability. But do you know it has also problem? It has also problem. What problem it can have?
Misuse of RTI.
Nexus between local people and local administration.
Yes. So basically, let's say that we have formal. The formal is, let's say we brought CAG. Let's say informal. So we brought social audit. But मान लो social audit से exposure हो गया, exposure of corruption. But then action, there should be action thereafter. Right. There should be action, but there is no action. तो पहले भी लोगों को पता था कि करप्शन होता है. So RTI's glorification, let's say RTI, citizen charter, social audit, e-governance, everything. Now people know more and more about corruption. But where is action? So World Bank has written another report it has brought in 2018. Right. It brought a report on governance. Another report on governance. And there it has studied several countries, means wherever these things have been implemented, RTIs, social audit. So it has studied so many countries, and then it has found what are the flaws. And let's say, so they studied, they gave governance concept, good governance concept. Then it has studied also, and then it has given a new concept that it says that we should move towards that is called actionable accountability. Means there must be action. And इस एक्शन के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? एडिडास में नहीं जाने की जरूरत है. So, right, action. Right. So what we should do? For this action, you have to go to CAG. You have to go to CAG. आना ही पड़ेगा हमारे पास, मतलब CAG के पास. Because ultimately action will come through formal institutions. Action will ultimately come through formal institutions. Formal institutions. right? Formal institutions. Therefore, we have to ultimately, what we have to do? This. Ultimately, you have to strengthen it. Right. Ultimately, you have to strengthen the formal system, otherwise this will become not effective, there will be disillusionment. People will get disillusioned that कि कुछ होता है नहीं, क्या पांडे जी क्या आरटीआई अप्लाई करना है. Isn't it? आरटीआई अप्लाई करोगे अपने आप को ट्रबल करोगे. You will get persecuted, you will get troubled, you will get lots of, let's say that harassment others. So why to apply RTA? People will get disillusioned if participation is not bringing effect. So ultimately you have to strengthen them. To make the informal mechanisms effective, formal mechanisms should also work. This is how it is, and that is how the present position, the concept called actionable accountability concept. Read. Actionable accountability. This. So I guess it is clear.
Sir, can we say it is post-modern or post-NPM type, that traditional with contemporary?
Yes, but no need to add that aspect. No need to add postmodern. But don't give it postmodern twist. Right. This, so no need to give that postmodern twist, but yes, we have to talk that actionable accountability. So now we have to go. That's why there is a talk on to further strengthen, and that's why there is a talk that we will talk for local government. There should be a local ombudsman. So unless you have a local ombudsman combining 3-4 districts, so RTI, social audit, they are not going to be effective. Because their corruptions are exposed, but investigation is not ordered. So this we will talk there. So this is a new aspect. That is how the concept of accountability has evolved. This.
Sir, ombudsman is like formal institution or informal?
It is formal. It is part of supply side, because government, let's say Lokpal is appointed by the government. Right. This, even if it is for citizen, but ultimately it is appointed by government. This now this I will dictate, finish, then we'll start definition. But then I want to highlight one more aspect in this, that we expect a question. Yes, already we have asked that question. Very new aspect in this. Right, so let me write that question, although it is a bit unrelated here, but since we will not take this again, so this is that. It is very innovative question. Are you able to understand? So, are we going back to Max Weber? Because Max Weber also told that there should not be any discretion, whims and fancies. You should act as per what the law says. Right. And now by these all tools, basically we are taking away the bureaucracy discretion. So isn't it is a reversal of administration and going back to what Max Weber bureaucracy is? A bit complex question also. We do not expect an answer from you at this stage, but yes, I guess you may understand because you have to still teach all these topics of this chapter.
But by this tool, we are not absolutely minimizing the discretion. In Weberian model, there was there should not a discretion power. Here we are just lessening the discretion, not absolutely.
Yes, true that we are not trying to go. That is how the difference we have to understand. Right. We have.
We can.
Yes.
Sir, in this we also are doing what when the discretion exercise, there's also a counter check on that discretion, that whether the discretion is right and right place or not through various tools.
Yes.
Sir, in the Weberian bureaucracy, it should act as per the legal and rational which is mentioned. But in this type of bureaucracy, positive discrimination is allowed. So no complete abolition of discretion.
Yes, that is how it is. So we have been inspecting, and it is part of one research paper. Means lots of things have been already written. Let's see. We have asked already 4 years back this question, not today, 4 years back. So every year we ask some new questions, which students also feel very at times upset also and disturbed also, and they enjoy it also. Because unless you try asking new questions, so it is difficult to match UPSC. Last year we asked third party administration, third party government. It was in men's, it was in our mock test paper. Last year also in UPSC in paper 1, the third party government was mentioned in a question. This. Anyhow, but that's not the point again. Okay, we want to appreciate or anything, but let's so today we have tried to give you this insight on concept of accountability. Right. So henceforth, even if we do not teach the topics, you will be able to write by this framework. RTI, Yojana Charter, Lokpal, everything you can understand through this framework. But because you can understand from this framework their strength and weakness. What are their strength, what are their weakness, what they belong, what they do not belong. So let's write. This question we will leave here. Yes, good that you are able to understand. So this stage, so yes, it is not that we are trying to take away discretion. Rather, we are trying to have multi layers of check on that discretion. We are not minimizing discretion. So we are telling that you use your discretion with a sense of responsibility and responsiveness. That is the bottom line. So discretions are there, but now you have to use that with responsibility and responsiveness. This.
So can we take a stand as well at the end that discretions are required to bring innovations as well?
Yes, you have to take a stand. That's why we have to be this. They should work as means, not end in themselves.
Right.
That's why you have to understand that. So they should work more as means, not end in themselves. Right. So innovations are also important. Control is also important. Check also important. Right. This way we should say that. So let's conclude on this side. This we will leave. What we were saying about, yes, this side. So this will conclude. So let's try that. Although social accountability is still an evolving phenomenon and concept and phenomenon, because nation states are still trying to initiate and improve the tools of social accountability. The tools of social accountability. However, it is also true that it has become over 3 decades. It has become over 3 decades of their implementation. Hence, a good length of time for also assessing. Good length of time for assessing their strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses. The World Bank recently in 2018, on the basis of its research and studies in several countries, about RTI, social audit, and others. It has found that how even social accountability is lacking its effectiveness. Simply because first, people participation has increased. Second, exposure of corruptions has also increased. However, actions are lacking due to actionable mechanisms. For instance, even in India, there are exposures through RTI and social audit, exposures of corruption through RTI and social audit, but there are no mechanisms. For taking. There are no defined mechanisms, right? There are no defined mechanisms for taking actions. And hence it is of view that there must be action, and we need to move we need to move towards next stage. We need to move towards next stage of accountability, known as actionable accountability. Known as actionable accountability. Actionable accountability. For which traditional system of control needs to be strengthened. Needs to be strengthened. That is, social accountability would become effective if there is effective working of formal accountability. Formal accountability. That's why traditional system of control with checks and balances must work. Must work. Especially Parliament. Especially Parliament. And hence, if accountability ultimately depends on people, formally it ultimately depends on Parliament. Therefore, to strengthen accountability, its ultimate aspect would be Parliament and people, the two sides of the same coin. And I have innovated, I will ask a question.
What is the last line?
Parliament and people are two sides of the same coin. So this is how we finish your evolution of accountability, how accountability has evolved, the system of control, then contemporary system of control, then its flaws, then where we are heading towards, and that is called actionable accountability. Right.
The two sides of the same coin in terms of upholding accountability.
In terms of ultimate aspect of accountability, not upholding all. Ultimate. Because there are two, one is top institution, another is bottom institution. This. So one is the most important institution of the formal side, the other is the most important institution of the informal side, and ultimately it depends on them. Okay, this. Now we'll take basics called defining accountability. Right? So far we were talking concept of accountability. That is the concept. Right? That control is basis for accountability, how it has, there are different types of control that we have. So, let's start.
While writing social audit, we are written that people will be given voice, ownership, and deterrence. So, what is the deterrence?
Deterrence ki they will create deterrence na. If people have voice, it creates deterrence. डर पैदा करता है.
अच्छा, डर.
डर 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 राइट. सो डर पैदा करता है. जब सिटीजन्स they will say that na, give me RTI, otherwise I will give me information, otherwise I will RTI you, isn't it? So citizens, let's say, so it will create deterrence, let's say, in your mind. This we can say. When we say accountability in a simple way, we say it as answerability. This answerability, and then let's take the formal aspect. What is formal aspect? So So accountability is an act of answerability and enforceability against any action of the administration to ensure that the action is in accordance with law. This. Now, accountability, when you say, So it is not only about evaluate, means it is not about performance evaluation. You should not take this way. It is not about this. It is to evaluate the actions, decisions of administration and enforce for the same. So we enforce for the same. Since accountability is enforceable, it means it is defined by laws, rules, process, procedures, hierarchy. That's why it becomes formal, legal, hierarchical. So since it is enforceable, it is enforced. When it is enforced, so it means that it should be clearly defined, stated. If it is not clearly defined and stated, so then it will be difficult to enforce. So it means that they are clearly defined as per laws, rules, process, procedures, and even hierarchy. So hierarchy also become basis, and that is how it is considered as formal, legal, and hierarchical. Like say if we give example related to let's say conduct rules. So for civil servants, so we have conduct rules. So they define. So for police, we have Indian Police Act. Right. So disaster management body. Just I want to make sundry types of examples, not related to only one aspect. So it will be formally defined, let's say, formally defined. Next, so conduct rules, formal accountability, it is related to civil service accountability. It is related to police accountability. So for financial accountability, so we have told.
Yes, sir.
Yes, voice is not coming.
No, sir, something else is coming. I don't know.
The voice is coming. It looks like your mic is not working.
It was little heavy type.
And now it's working. For a while it was disturbed, but now it's working.
Is it clear? Not clear.
Yes, echoing.
Yes, it is.
Now it's clear.
Heavy voice. So I was saying that means what we are trying to relate, although let's say you don't have to relate that way, otherwise it becomes GS type. You should know that, because public administration orientation is different and GS orientation.
As soon as you are turning to the board, the voice is different.
Sir, it look like you are speaking from Auditoria.
He's going.
Is it like that?
Yes, sir.
Eco problem, sir.
What is happening?
All is good, sir.
All is good.
From my side.
Everything is same.
Sir, I think the systems mic is working.
Yes, sir. Now it's better.
Fine.
It automatically got changed, I guess, okay, from the mic that we use to our lab. It got connected with laptop somehow.
Yes, sir. Now it's fine.
And then, so we were saying about see GS examples, not that kind of things. It will result into GS type, but just to show it what we are saying. Law procedures. So there are different types of laws. That's why I'm trying to diversify the example. So we were saying that the civil servants, their accountability can be upheld on the basis of conduct rules. Police, we have Indian Police Act. It is everything defined. Disaster Management Act is in operation nowadays. So civil administration also has to follow Disaster Management Act. There are various sections of Disaster Management Act. So this way we can consider. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this Disaster Management Act, similarly Financial Accountability, already we have told that how CAG. The CAG is a formal institution and there is a formal audit. It is a very formal audit process. Formal audit, which will teach when we'll take CAG. So formal audit, what is formal audit? So let's say that you are district magistrate and you may have spent any such fund on any such scheme, etc. So CAG would audit this as per what is defined here. So that way your financial accountability will be upheld. This. So it is defined, there is a legal process that results. So this is how it will give, and it gives reports. It can be, let's say, it does not focus on any particular person, it focuses on administration. The CAG will carry out, it will focus on administration. That's why such examples will suit in GS rather than in public administration, because it does not audit only district magistrate. It audits administration. The audits administrations, it will audit administration. There are 3 reports as we told. It will have, one is called appropriation account. On that, it will have finance account on that. And then one is related to public sector, PSUs. So it will audit not a particular, let's say, office, etc. Rather it audits government schemes and programs and annual expenditure like appropriation experiments act and finance act. So under that, so this way we can consider. So again, its rules and process are defined. So defined rules and process, because its types of audits are defined: legal audit, proprietary audit, discretionary audit that we say, finance audit we say, regulatory audit we say. So there are defined mechanism process to carry out audit. This. It means, let's say that what we get now, once it is enforceable because audit is done, then after that you know that it is scrutinized, then action taken, report is brought. If it is found that there is any malpractice, the government can pursue action. The government will pursue action against that officer, that department, that organization. That is how it is called enforceable. And in conduct rules, let's say, so they are directly enforceable. In civil service, we have told that how corruption, etc., and how it is enforced. Like say, there can be investigation, and there are external agencies also, internal departmental inquiry also. There is a departmental inquiry also. Departmental inquiry will also uphold. the accountability of a civil servant. That's why it becomes enforceable, formal, legal, procedural, hierarchical. Right? Is it clear? Yes.
Sir, you said that accountability is on the action and decision and not the performance. But by our
No, we told that cannot try to understand. I told that ki evaluation of performance is not performance evaluation, performance appraisal.
okay.
You should not interpret something like performance appraisal type. It is about it is not performance. That's why there is performance accountability. But you have to distinguish between two things. One, performance appraisal, and another, evaluation of performance to uphold accountability. Right? No.
What's the difference?
Suppose police arrest someone on without any legal basis. Then there is an inquiry committee. The inquiry committee is not evaluating performance of the police. Evaluation, that inquiry committee is seeing whether the action taken by the police was lawful. But you have to understand the two different things. Here it is about action should be lawful. The lawfulness of the action. Although lawfulness of the action, let's say that many a time it is linked to your performance also. We have told malfeasance, misfeasance, overfeasance. If a scheme has not been implemented effectively, there is delay in implementation, so it is lack of performance. The lack of performance will also, but let's do not here bring performance aspect, otherwise it will result into gradually you will understand when we will further expand the concept, further explain the concept.
Got it.
Right. This. Now the question comes, let's see, when it is a formal concept, so when it is a formal concept, so then question comes like this: accountability, to whom, to what, and how. This accountability to whom, what, and how. So this will take after taking a break with a fresh mind.